another Tonic Craft Kit unboxing video. Today's one is for kit number 73, which is called Jingle Bells and Baubles, and I just want to apologise. I'm so sorry that I didn't have a kit video for last month. I didn't get sent the kit by Tonic, but I have bought it, so when I do get a chance, I shall hopefully do one of these unboxing videos for kit 72, which was the Walk on the Wild Side kit. So if you're waiting for that unboxing video, I will do one. It's just going to be a bit late because I only got mine the same time you got yours, and I've been working on this one to do this video, so there will be a video at some point. Also this month I'm not doing a tutorial video to go along with this because I've been away and I'm trying to get back into things. I'm just going to do an unboxing video for this month's kit, but I have done two 3D projects. I've done the bell and the bauble that you can create with this kit. They are fantastic actually, I really enjoyed making them. And I also altered the bell so that instead of just having the same capacity of space that the bauble has to put your gift in, I've actually made it a bigger box, so I'll show you how I've done that as well. And I've also done some cards too, so you might think there's not that many pieces in the die set that would be able to create cards from, but as I was cutting things out I couldn't help but see something, so I had to turn it into a card as well, so I will show you those later on too. So let's get on with the kit unboxing. So the lovely thing at the moment is Tonic keeps sending the actual leaflet as well, so I'm presuming you will get this in your kit when you get yours. You've probably been getting them for months and months and months as well, but it's really nice to actually have this little booklet to go along with your kit to show you exactly what the projects are supposed to look like, and it also gives you a list of everything that's in here. So if you like to break up your kits and put them with your stash, so you put your cardstock with your cardstock, your Nuvo with your Nuvo, your ribbon with your ribbon, everything like that, it actually reminds you of exactly the colour schemes that they suggested that would work really well for the project. But obviously you can go with whatever colour scheme you want, but it's nice to have a list of it to be able to let you know and remind you of what colours would work really nicely for this. So that's the little leaflet that you get, and I'll be using that later to tell you the colours of card and things. So first of all, let's go through the bag of Nuvo goodies, because that's always my favourite. So this month we have got another packet of the low tack die tape, which I've said before, it's not quite sticky enough for me for die cutting the way I tend to die cut, because I'm always die cutting so much stuff. I have like a little stack of cardstock of lots of pieces that are the right size to cut out, and then I stick the die to the top one, and I want to keep you know, keep them on top of the top one and not let them slide off. So it's not quite strong enough for holding dies like that, but if you are just running them through, you know, sticking them down, running it through your machine, taking that tape off, putting the next one on, sticking it down, running it through your machine, it's perfect for that. But I have also shown in the past as well, it's brilliant as like a stencil tape. So if you've already got your favourite low tack die tape that you already use, or maybe you have a machine that doesn't require tape because you've got that magneticness to it, this is fantastic for stenciling as well. So even though it says Craft Perfect die tape on it, it's brilliant for stenciling. So we've got 2 rolls of that, and you actually get 10 meters on each roll, so you're getting 20 meters altogether, and it is 19 millimeters wide, which is kind of like a standard. If you have like a foam tape or a sellotape or something, it's kind of standard, that sort of width of tape. Then you're also getting more tape. You're getting the Craft Perfect double-sided Redliner tape with the 3mm width, and you get 5 meters on this roll as well, and it's got the new branding of Craft Perfect on there as well, so it's a slightly different package actually. I haven't actually opened this one up, but I'm sure the old one, it was a larger packet, I think. I don't think it had this folded over bit on it, so it's slightly different packaging as well, but it's always handy to have extra Redliner tape, especially if you want to do lots of the 3-dimensional projects, because you get through it quite quickly putting lots of different bits and pieces together. So we've got 3mm in width, which is always great for your stash and for this project that's in the kit as well. Then we also have ribbon. So we've got a spool of 5 meters of ribbon, and it is in the Chilli red colour because that goes with the colour scheme of the kit, and it's their double satin ribbon. However, you're going to get either or. So I got the 9mm width of ribbon, but I did use some 3mm as well, because the option is you'll either get a 9mm spool or a 3mm spool, and obviously I've got both in my stash already. So I wanted to use both on my projects to show you how you can use both depending on which ribbon you get in your kit. So I did get the 9mm one, but it will be an either or between the 9mm or the 3mm width of your red Chilli red ribbon. So gorgeous ribbon. I really do like their ribbon. It doesn't fray too much when you cut it, which is really nice. Then Nuvo product wise, we have got a Nuvo glimmer paste, and as you can see it's in a hexagonal pot, which means it's the new formulation, which all of the glimmer paste going forward are in the new formulation. But if you have the round pots of glimmer paste, they are the old formulation. So maybe you've tried them in the past and didn't like how quickly that they dried. If you then get a hexagonal pot of glimmer paste, this is the new formula, which takes longer to dry. So it's easier to clean off your stencils and your spatulas and all that kind of thing as well. So this colour is the Glitterati Gold. So it's really, really pretty, jam-packed full of gold glitter. And the gold glitter card that you get in this kit, which is called Gold Dust, it's pretty much identical glitter-wise, so they work really nicely together for your project, using a little bit of the glimmer paste and also some of the glitter card as well. So you've got a full-size pot of glimmer paste. Oh, I should say a few ways of using glimmer paste. I've actually just used a palette knife to spread it onto my project to coordinate with that gold glitter card, to add it around the bottom of the bell that I created. But you can obviously use a palette knife to spread it through a stencil. You can just spread it haphazardly onto your cardstock. You could apply it with your finger really delicately and just make a subtle glittery kind of background. You can actually put it into a piping bag if you wanted to and like pipe with it, or if you have glitter accents, that would be a similar kind of thing. It's already in the bottle for you. But if you wanted to create something similar to how you would use a glimmer accent, or a glitter accent even, you can put glimmer paste in like a piping bag or something, or just in like a resealable bag and cut the corner off and then squeeze it out as well. If you wanted to be more precise with your application, you can definitely do that too. So that is the Nuvo glimmer paste. Then you're also getting a Nuvo glitter drop, which is one of my absolute favourites. This one is White Blizzard. So this is one of the original glittery ones, and it's clear. So I know it's called White Blizzard, but I think that's sort of to represent the fact that it looks great on top of white to make a snowy kind of look. However, it is clear with the glitter in it, and it has got kind of like an interference glitter. I think you can maybe just about see that. It's got like the kind of interference glitter that gives slight little bits of green and pink off of it. It's really, really pretty, and I actually use this in a swirly fashion on top of silver mirror card, and it looks fantastic. I don't know why I've never tried doing that before, but it looks really good. So I'll show you that on one of the cards that I created later. And obviously your Nuvo glitter drops are just like your Nuvo normal drops or dream drops, or in any kind of drop that you can get from Nuvo. You can do all sorts of different things with them. Obviously the main thing is creating a drop, which is just squeezing a little bit out and it self levels into a lovely little dome, and with the glitter drops they're smooth on the outside, so the glitter is all encapsulated in a smooth little dome. But you can do so many different things with your Nuvo drops. I've done tons of videos in the past on how to create different backgrounds with them, whether you're just like scribbling with them using them like a glitter glue, whether you're squishing bits of card together with them, whether you're scraping them with a palette knife and putting them through stencils and things like that. There's so many different ways of using your glitter drops or any of your Nuvo drops. So a lovely addition to your stash, and also a great one to have for any kind of Christmassy projects like the ones from this kit as well. It just adds a beautiful sparkle to your projects. And then we also have the set of dual dot markers, which are metallic. These came out in the Christmas Magic colour trend, which must have been at least a year ago by now. And they're these fantastic double-ended markers that you get in the 3 different colours. I've got my original packet of them here. So you've got Empire Gold, Black Pearl and Platinum Gold, and each of the markers has 2 ends. So you have a fine end, which is great for actually just writing. I'm just thinking, if you like to use black card or a darker card maybe for your card blanks or envelopes even, and you're not sure how to write on them, or maybe all of your pens that you would normally use for writing on them have dried up or something, this fine end would be really great for writing on darker coloured card blanks or envelopes, you know, to actually write to the recipient or to write the address on the outside of an envelope as well. And you've got the 3 gorgeous colours in here. Let me just get a scrap of cardstock, and you have different ends to them. So the narrower end is perfect for writing, embellishing, doodling, adding extra detail to patterned papers and things like that. And then the fatter end is actually the actual name of them. They're called a dot marker because the fatter end you can just do straight up and down vertically, and you can get beautiful dots, perfectly round little dots. The harder you press, the bigger the dot will be, and the lighter you press, the smaller the dot will be. So perfect little dots, perfect again for accenting pattern papers. When these came out, if you want to see a few more ways that I use these, go and check out my unboxing video for the Christmas Magic colour trend. I'll try and remember to link it as one of the videos at the end as well. But I did sort of embellish patterned papers and things with them too. But they're just really fantastic for adding pattern. Maybe you've got like a large die cut, but you're only putting something smaller on the top, and you feel like it's too open and blank and empty. Just adding a few polka dots with some of these colours looks fantastic to kind of like build, like fill in the empty space. So that's the kind of dotty effect that you can get. You can go really uniform, like the gold I've done there. You can go on slightly on the smaller side, like here, or you can go really tiny or really big, depending on how much pressure you put on them. And that black pearl is kind of like a gorgeous graphite kind of colour. Really, really pretty. So a fantastic item or different product to have in your stash that you might not have seen before. If you're new to Tonic and Nuvo, you might not have seen these before. I think they have been around about a year, but they've only done this set of the colours, and I have a feeling they did this because when they redid their alcohol markers, they didn't bring out that set of metallic water-based markers that came out with the original alcohol markers from Nuvo. So if you're looking for a replacement for those kind of ones, this could be something that you might want to consider, or if you're going to get it in your kit anyway. So yeah, those are the Nuvo dual dot markers, and they are metallic. So gorgeous set of 3 of those. And then let's go on to this as well. I might as well show you this now. We have got a 6x6 pad of their mirror card. This is the new branding as well, so you might have had some of their older ones. I'm not sure if they're exactly the same formulation. I don't remember them being called the same names that I've seen the new ones being called, so I'm not 100% sure if they're the same, but it's a gorgeous configuration, and I love that they're in a smaller size, because if you like making smaller cards like I do, it's so much more handy, especially if you're like me and you end up working in a smaller and smaller space as you're creating cards. It's so much more handy having smaller pieces of cardstock rather than having, you know, all of these different 4 ones in an A4 pack. You know, it's taking up more space on your desk and stuff. It's so much nicer to have a little 6x6 pad. So this one has got polished gold, gold pearl, harvest gold and honey gold. So it's got a mixture of the proper full-on shiny mirror card. As you can see, it really reflects everything because you can see my camera. So that first one is the polished gold, so a beautiful gold tone. The next one is the gold pearl, which is the satin mirror card, and you can see that isn't very mirror reflective, but it still has that gorgeous sheen to it. It's just in more of a satin kind of finish, so it's less garish on your card. It's just really beautiful. I love the satin card. Then there's lots of different ways that you can use this. It works brilliantly in embossing folders as well. If you've never tried satin mirror card in embossing folders, it does look fantastic, especially on the debossed side as well. I like embossing but debossing into the good side of the satin mirror card. It looks really good. And you can also do cool techniques where you stamp in your clear sticky ink on top of it, let it dry, and then you end up with, like, where the clear sticky ink was, it kind of turns it into a proper mirror card with that mirror shine. I'm not really sure how it works, but it's a very cool technique, and I'm sure I did touch on it years ago in a video, but I cannot remember what video that was in. But it's a very cool technique. If you've never tried that before, take a little scrap of your satin mirror card and stamp on it with your clear mark ink pad, and you'll get that cool effect. You do have to let it dry for quite a while though, otherwise you'll smudge it, but that's a cool way of using your satin, which is the gold pearl. The next colour in the pad is the harvest gold, which is a slightly more almost like a rose gold, slightly more on the rosy gold kind of side. It's definitely not as bright yellowy gold as the first one. I think you can kind of see the difference there. It's slightly more of a pinky sort of gold. And then the final one that's in here is the honey gold, which is another one of the satin mirror cards. And this one is again more on like the pinky or warmer No, is it warmer, or would you say it's cooler? Maybe you'd say that's cooler. It's a slightly more coppery sort of gold, maybe. I'm not very good at explaining the differences between golds, but you can kind of see there. This is a very yellow gold, and this is slightly more of a, I would say it's more of like a pinky gold, I think. It's really pretty though. I do love all of their different gold mirror cards that they do. They have a lovely selection of golds, and these are perfect for, you could create actually the main project from these if you wanted to. Although I'm always a bit frugal with my mirror card, and I'd prefer to just cut out the decorative elements with it. But it's brilliant for that as well. Die cuts really, really nicely. So that is the 6x6 gold bullion mirror card collection that you're also getting in this month's kit. Then we'll go on to the cardstock. So for this month's kit, I have cut all mine in half because I was being lazy and I hadn't organised my cardstock and I couldn't be bothered to go and find another sheet of each of them. So I cut them all in half. So you will get full A4 sheets of them. I'm just showing you an A5 sheet of them because I cut all mine in half. But you're getting classic card, you're getting chili red, and you're also getting fern green, which are beautiful Christmassy tones, but you're actually getting 2 sheets of the chili red so that you can create an entire project from the red colour for the base if you want to. So you're getting 2 sheets of the chili red and 1 sheet of the fern green, and this is their beautiful textured Craft Perfect cardstock. So it has that lovely texture on one side, and then it's just more of like the smoother texture on the other side. So if you wanted to stamp onto it, then stamping onto the reverse side works really nicely. You still get that beautiful colour, but you can stamp on there much easier because it hasn't got that linen texture on there. Although recently I have done a video where I've braided paint on top of the textured side of the Craft Perfect, and it looks fantastic. If you pick a really close colour and brayer it over it, it just like highlights that texture. Or I'm just thinking actually, the pens from the kit, where's my gold one gone? I think the gold one would look nice. The dot pens, if you held this at an angle and did it really lightly, you might be able to just pick up. They might be a bit too juicy. I think I'm going over too much of the texture, but that could be a way, if you do it really lightly, you could highlight the texture. Obviously you could go tone on tone rather than using the gold, but you can see that gorgeous linen texture that it has that you can pick out. Maybe you have mousses and things from previous kits or just from your collection. It would work really nicely to pick out that textured detail as well if you want to. I never really say that kind of thing in a video, but I just thought of it, so I thought I would mention that you can pick out that gorgeous texture. Then you're also getting a A4 sheet of their glitter card, which is called Gold Dust, and you can see just how perfectly that gold matches the Glitterati Gold Glimmer Paste. It's like the exact match, so they work really nicely in conjunction with each other. You can die cut elements, and you can also go a little bit rogue and add some extra elements just with a palette knife to sort of decorate. Or if you have some stencils in your stash that you really want to use, you can use some of this paste with your stencils as well to decorate some of the sides of the 3D elements. You could use your some of your die cuts as a stencil. Actually, I'm just looking at this, and I presume it's either Karen, Alison or Leo who's done these gorgeous samples. They have actually created a stencil with one of the side panels and used that glimmer paste through it there. So you can actually do that kind of thing for your project as well. And you can see how well that glitter paste applies, or the glimmer paste applies, because that is really fine detail and it's gone through it really nicely. So you can definitely do that for your project as well. So that's your glitter card, and then I'll hold the mirror cards underneath the glitter card so you're not just seeing my camera again. But you've got 4 gorgeous mirror cards that will go along really nicely with that 6x6 pack, and you've actually got polished gold in an A4 sheet, and the polished gold is also in the 6x6 pack. So you've got a comparison of, I guess it could be a comparison of the quality, because it proves to you that this is the exact same quality of cardstock that you get in the 6x6 pads than what you get in the A4 packets as well, because this is actually more of a cost-effective way of buying your mirror card, especially if you like using it for smaller cards and you don't necessarily need an A4 amount. It's actually more cost-effective to buy the 6x6 pads as well, so that might be something to think about if you haven't thought about that kind of thing before. So you've got an A4 sheet of the polished gold, you've also got an A4 sheet of the ruby red, the chrome silver and the holly green. That holly green is one of my favourite greens, it's absolutely beautiful, and you do have a little holly die in this month's kit and it works really nicely to cut that out too. The chrome silver is what I was saying I put the White Blizzard Nouveau drops onto. I just did a squiggly random pattern on it and it looks fantastic. And then the red is perfect for cutting the berries for the holly, or also cutting decorative pattern panels to go onto your bauble or bell for the project as well. So that is all of the cardstock from this month's kit. I'll just move this out of the way and then I'll come back and show you the dies and stamps. So here are the dies and stamps for this month's kit. We've got a gorgeous little A7 stamp set with lots of lovely sentiments on there, and then we've also got the A5 die set as usual as well, and I have put mine on an A5 magnetic sheet too, just to keep them all together. So first of all, let's have a look at the stamp set. So a gorgeous selection of sentiments, some of which will fit inside the different portions. Actually, I think all of them would fit inside different portions from the die set as well. So some will fit on the tag, some will fit on the panels for decorating as well. So, and also actually, these are just going to be perfect for your Christmas cards. Maybe you haven't invested in anything for your Christmas cards this year yet, and you're just mostly looking for some gorgeous new stamped sentiments and a few extra panels, or maybe the extra three-dimensional kind of project. This kit would be the perfect kind of one because you've got this lovely selection of sentiments in here, plus the ability to make two different boxes to be able to put even just really reasonably priced kind of gifts for people, just a handful of chocolates and things. They're the perfect kind of gift box for that. Anyway, back to the stamp set. We've got Merry Christmas, Joy, Peace and Love, and you also have Noel in the same style as well. So gorgeous little font, and I really like that the O's have got different emblems in the centre. So you've got a little star in that O, a heart in the love, and then a star in the Noel as well. Then you've also got Jingle Bells, From Me to You, 'Tis the Season, and Season's Greetings. So really gorgeous selection of sentiments there, and even good ones for people who don't celebrate Christmas as well, but you still want to send them something in your Christmassy kind of season. So you've got like 'Tis the Season, Season's Greetings, Jingle Bells, perfect for those kind of occasions too. So that is your little A7 stamp set. And then there is a little tag die in the die set that works with the other die that goes inside it, but a lot of these little sentiments will fit perfectly on that tag die. So the little Season's Greetings is brilliant on there. You could do just one of those single words. You could probably stack two of those words together. You can put Merry Christmas on there as well. These ones are slightly too big. Those last three are slightly too big, but you can put those onto the sides of your bauble or your bell as well. So whether you're putting it on the top of the element, you can put it that way up, or if you're putting it on the bottom of the element, you can put it that way up as well, and all of those will fit inside these different panels too. This one might be a little bit of a tight squeeze, but it would fit on the Jingle Bell, and it would obviously go better with Jingle Bells because it's a bell, but the 'Tis the Season and From Me to You would fit on the bauble as well. So you can sort of use them, maybe that one wouldn't work that way up, but it would definitely work for the top portion of the bauble. So those are the stamps and how they coordinate. And then here are all of the dies in this month's kit. So I didn't get the instruction sheet in my kit, but you will get a sheet of instructions showing you exactly how to put the bell and the bauble together. However, when I show you mine, I adapted the bell so that it makes it a slightly larger gift box, but the way you're supposed to make it is this panel here that has the flat top on it is the top of the bell and the top of the bauble, and the way they say to create the bell is to actually use two of these. So you use this for the top and the bottom of the bell, and then you put this piece around the bottom to make it look more like a bell. But the way I've done it is I've used this as the top of the bell, this as the bottom of the bell, and then I've used a hexagon die from my stash to give the bell a bottom base piece, just to make it look a little bit different and to make it a slightly larger kind of gift box, but you can do whichever way you want to. And then for the bauble, you use this one for the top because you've got the flat piece there to be able to stick the little bauble hanger onto, and then use this one for the bottom, which gives you a lovely point to the bottom of your bauble. And I think the reason reason is for the bell that you use this one for the bottom if you're doing the circular kind of gift box inside it, is because this pointy part would come too far below the actual bottom of the bell, and the bell will kind of rest on this flat point underneath this sort of skirt piece that you add on afterwards. So I think that's why for the bell you use this one for the top and the bottom, and for the bauble you use this one for the top and the pointy one for the bottom. And the way these work is kind of similar to if you follow all of the videos that I've done rather than just the kit ones. There was the hot air balloon from a while back. I think that's the main one I'm thinking of that was similar to this, but the way you do it is you cut 6 of the panels, and then you would have them and you would sort of like fold them round each other and use those little tabs to glue them together. So I guess if I hold one way and one the other way, you kind of stick them at the top and then you curve the whole piece round with the tabs to kind of create this bauble or orb sort of kind of shape. It's really easy to do actually, especially if you pre-fold everything. So die cut everything and then fold all of these glue tabs in. Use your glide folder or bone folder to really press those creases and folds into it, and then also use your glide folder or bone folder to kind of run along like this and curve them. So you see how when the die is flat, obviously it cuts it like that, but if you run your glide folder or bone folder along the back of it, you'll kind of curl it, almost like curling ribbon, to kind of give it that curvature first, and then you can put them all together, and that works really well for building it. And it's really simple to put together actually. It might look complicated, but it is actually very simple to do, which is really nice. And then all of these pieces have a flat piece here, and the way that works, I'm hoping I'm explaining this right, I haven't filmed a video in a long time, so I'm probably rambling too much, but you'd build them all together, then these flat pieces would fold underneath, so they'd be at complete right angles to the main side portion. As you can see here, it's completely folded inside there, and then you use this hexagon die as the main sort of base piece. These actual glue tabs will fit perfectly on top of the hexagon die with 6 of them going all the way around, and then use 2 of these to sandwich those glue tabs together and hold it all together, because not only is this a gorgeous bauble that you could just hang on your tree, when you actually open it, it is actually a gift box inside, and that is how you put your gift in there, is you have these sort of pieces making it 2 halves of a whole, and you have 2 of these, one to stick the main glue tabs to, and then you also put the little closure mechanism on here and the hinge portion that holds the 2 pieces together, and then you put another one over the top to hide all of that. And normally if you made this all out of a single colour, you won't see, I mean, you'll obviously see the glue tabs in there, but you won't see it so noticeably. Because I've used red and green alternating the different panels, you can actually like really see how they're stuck together. But if you just used a single colour, you wouldn't be able to tell that too much. But isn't it just fantastic? I really enjoyed making this gorgeous little box. You could turn it into some kind of Muppet or something as well. It could actually talk too, so you could do all sorts of different things with these. But not only are they just a gorgeous decoration for a tree, which you could just make this whole portion, stick those 2 pieces together and not have it opening, and it could just be a gorgeous fancy bauble for your tree, or you can do the gift box kind of idea. And in the instructions it does also say you could use a magnet to close it. However, I'm just thinking, depending on the weight of your gift, I mean, you could actually put this mechanism on there, the little pieces, because you've got to hide them within there, and put a magnet as well if you wanted to, and it would be magnetic plus also being held shut in case your gift is a little bit too heavy. You could have that ribbon holding it shut as well. But it's a really gorgeous little gift box that you can close in a couple of different ways depending on the weight of your gift. And I've got sidetracked by talking about that now. So because I've just spoken about that, I'll tell you what these 2 pieces are. So this is that closure mechanism. It's a little circle with a straight line through it and the little hole on it as well, and you stick the solid part underneath the hexagon. So that would be stuck underneath the hexagon like that, and then on the opposite side to your closure you stick your hinge on there, and you fold that, make sure it's nice and folded really well, and then you can use that as the hinge to attach the 2 pieces together. Then for the bell portion, this piece here is the exact same size as how you would put the top or bottom of the bauble together. So you can actually use this hexagon to create the whole base piece like I did, just using the bell sides, or I'm not actually sure how those glue tabs would go on if you'd already created the bottom piece. Maybe you just fold them back over the top and then put the hexagon on that as well. It probably said it in the instructions, but I didn't read it because I was changing how I was doing it. So you can sort of play around with that. You might want to cut those tabs off depending on how you want to put it together. But anyway, that will fit perfectly on the top of there if you want to create your box like I did, and just create the bell as a main actual box on there too. So you've got all of those pieces. Then you also have this one here and this one here, and this is the top of the bauble or the bell that you can actually use with this flat glue tab that goes along the top there. You can put the little hexagon on there to close in the top, very similar to the hot air balloon if you have made that in the past. It's kind of a similar process. And then this is the exact same size of a hexagon there, and you fold this up and you can put it on top, and that creates your little bauble cap. And I actually did my bauble cap in two different ways. This one I did the way it tells you to in the instructions, whereas it says put these hexagons on, then cut two of these, put your little hanging piece inside the top one, and you kind of make another one to go inside, and then this one goes over the top. It does show that in the instructions if I didn't explain that very well, and that creates your little bauble piece on here. However, on the bell that I did, which you can see it in full put together, and I'll untie the bow so we can get into it, but the bell that I did, I decided to see if you could do it differently for attaching that little bauble topper onto there as well. And it does work. So if you want to, instead of putting two of these on the top of there, one on the inside, one on the outside like it says to do, and instead of using two of these as well, you can just get away with using just one of these. And then if you can kind of see the glue tabs that are on the top of this flat piece here, I've just pushed them upwards, and then when this has been put together, I've stuck them to the inside of that bauble cap. So it gives a slightly different look when you actually hold them both together. I don't know if it's not really going to focus. Is it going to focus? There we go. You can kind of see the different look that it gives. So you can go whichever way you want to really, but I just wanted to see if that did work, and it does work if you wanted to cut out a few of the little pieces that you need to cut to create it. And then for that bauble topper piece, it has a slit in the top of it, and you use this piece here which kind of looks like a mini handbag or something, and you put two of them back to back so you get the mirror or whichever colour on both sides, and then that goes inside to be your little hanger for the bauble topper as well. Then I think the rest of it is just decoration. See, I'm not 100% sure if this die has a purpose, or I think maybe they just gave it to us because it fitted in between those other two dies. But I've actually used this one plus, what else did I use? I used the inner of the hexagon on here plus this one to create these little skinny pieces that I've turned into a wreath for a card. So I'll show you that when I show you my samples as well. But you get that extra circle die in there, which is just always handy to have really, having extra circles. Then these are all of the decorative panels to go on the portions of the design, and you actually have 3 different options for panels for the top portion. Because you can put the top on the bell or the bauble, you've got 3 different designs that work nicely on that. Then you have one design that has the point for the bottom of the bauble, and then you have one design for the side of the bell. But all of them, even though you only have one for the point, you can mix and match all of these ones to be in conjunction with the pointy one for a bauble, because they're very similar. They're all similar kind of elements within there, so I don't think it really matters what combination you use together. These two are the same to match together as a pair, and they've kind of got this gorgeous circular element in there. And then this one's got a little star in there, maybe another little star just there, and this one's also got star designs as well, so they kind of all coordinate together. And this one's very swirly kind of design. It almost looks like it's got a cog in the centre there. I guess it's supposed to be a star actually, but lovely little designs in there. And obviously you have the outside edge for all of those 3 panels as well, so you can just cut them from patterned paper if you want to. Then we have the gift tag that I was showing you earlier, and you can cut the word joy into that, so a lovely bold fonted joy there too. You've got this little die, which is a bell. I actually scored a little cross into it as well to make it look a little bit more like a bell too, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be the bell, unless it is another closure kind of thing, because it looks very similar to this one. So it could be a closure, it could be a bell. I think it's a little bell. You've also got the gorgeous little sprig of holly and the berries to go with that too. And I really like this feature. You get the two little vein portions of the holly as well, and they're identical to the pieces that emboss here. So you can cut them out of a different green cardstock and place them over the top of the holly, and it looks fantastic. And then you also have a gorgeous swirl design too, and I used this swirl in conjunction with those other two dies that I mentioned earlier to create a wreath, also with the holly too. And then when I was cutting these pieces, I could not help but see a reindeer's antler in these pieces. So that, don't they look like reindeer's antlers? And then I thought, well, how could I make a reindeer from the other elements that are in the kit? So I took this bell one, turned it up the other way, and it kind of gives a reindeer sort of look. And then I put a red mirror card dot in the centre of the nose, and it kind of gives a stylised reindeer. So I've done that on one of the cards that I've created. So I'll put all of the dies away, and then I'll come back and show you the samples that I've done. As I was putting the dies away, I think I just realised what this circle is supposed to be. Oh gosh, I can't pick it up now. So I think, oh goodness, I think this circle is actually supposed to be a gift tag as well, because those sentiments would fit on there perfectly. And that piece that I used as a reindeer's head, I just thought it's got a curve on it. So maybe the curve is supposed to sit between two circles. If you sandwich it between, it then gives you a little loop to turn that into a gift tag. So I think maybe that is what that is intended to be. I thought I'd just come back in and say that while I thought of it. So you've already seen these quite a bit, but this is the bauble that I created, and I decided to alternate red and green all the way around it, and then I've done the gorgeous polished gold as the bauble cap on the top of it. And I've also used a mixture of the 3mm and the 9mm ribbons as well, just to show you that you can use the 3mm to hang it up. If you didn't get the 3mm and you got the 9mm in your kit, you could use baker's twine to hang it up as well. Maybe you already have both the ribbons in your stash, so then you could use whichever one you didn't get in the kit to hang it up too. So you can really sort of mix and match which ribbons you want to use. But that is my sort of two-toned bauble, and you can kind of actually see, I suppose it's quite good to show you there, it shows you how you put it together. And the way I did it, actually, it's still a little bit sticky, but on the flat side of the side I put a row of Redliner tape, and then I just stick the glue tabs into the Redliner tape, and then I take an anti-static tool and put powder on top of that sticky, so it's not too sticky for any kind of gift that you would put inside here. But I think this would be fantastic for putting in a bunch of celebrations or something, and because of this lip you could bung in a bunch of celebrations on this side and this side, quickly close it, and then it's a much more substantial kind of gift rather than having to have something circular. I don't think that this would be quite big enough for a chocolate orange. You might be able to fit a chocolate orange in it though. You could definitely give it a go, see if it would fit in it. Definitely go for a ribbon closure mechanism though if you are going to put a chocolate orange, otherwise that's going to be way too heavy for a magnet to hold that shut. But a really gorgeous little sized gift box here. If I open it out like this, the hexagon for this one is about 3.5 inches from flat side to flat side, or point to point it is more like 4 inches. So a really decent sized little bauble. I really like this. It reminds me of a little bauble that we have on our childhood advent calendar that my mum made. These little gold baubles that were always day 3 and day 9. It kind of reminds me of that kind of thing. But you could definitely turn this into an advent calendar. Yeah, actually, imagine making 24 of these and decorating your Christmas tree with them, but they're actually an advent calendar too. Wouldn't that look really cool? You could have 24 of them all over your Christmas tree, but they're actually advent calendars too. I think that would look really... And actually, thinking for me, you could put an Nespresso coffee pod inside there and a little biscuit or something, and then you'd have like a surprise little coffee pod choice and biscuit every day. That would be really cool actually. That's a really good idea. Yeah, I think that would work really, really nicely as an advent calendar. So anyway, that is the bauble, and I'll just show you how I tied this one together in case you wanted to sort of see how simple it is to tie it together. So I've just taken a length of the 3mm ribbon. I'm going to tie it in a knot, and then I'm going to thread on the little joy tag. I just think it looks quite nice having that little extra tag on there. So you can push that through there, and then tie another knot on top of that, and then you can just tie a simple bow on top of that as well. So do the first loop, wrap it around, second loop, and then you've got your gorgeous little bow on there to hold it all together, and then you've got your little loop at the top, so it's going to hang perfectly. And then for the bell, this is showing how the 9mm ribbon still works through the top, so you can do 3mm or 9mm to hang it up by. Works really nicely. And then this is the inside of my bell box. So you're supposed to use the top and bottom that has that flat portion on to create the inside portion of the bell. But then I thought, well, you're kind of limiting yourself to that much of a gift, plus you're also using double the cardstock because you have to cut all of those pieces to also go inside here when you don't really need it because you've got the main shape here. And the way to turn the bottom of it into a full box rather than having the other circle portion there is you just take a hexagon die. I know I've covered mine in glimmer paste. I went a little bit over the top with my glimmer paste, but you can kind of see there is a hexagon die on there. My hexagon die was 5 3/4 inches, but you can go anything from about 6 1/4 to 5 1/2 I think would work. So if you have any nesting hexagon dies, maybe you had the hexagonal memory book that Tonic did, there's been a few of their giant layering die sets that have been hexagons as well. I'm sure you've got something that's within that range that would work, or if you don't, you can place your finished bauble without the bottom piece onto a piece of cardstock and just draw around it, and then cut that into your hexagon shape and stick that on the bottom. And all I did for sticking it on the bottom is, because this one was slightly smaller, I stuck the 3mm Redliner tape all around the perimeter of my hexagon and then stuck that onto the bottom of the bell. And it works really nicely just to make a slightly larger, I mean it's probably not that much larger, but it just makes it a tiny bit larger and also saves you cardstock, because I'm pretty sure this hexagon is less cardstock than the 6 pieces to cut all of the other interior piece that's supposed to be inside there. So if you wanted a different way of creating it, you didn't want the circular piece at the bottom, then you can do a solid bottomed bell piece by just putting a hexagon on the bottom there. And again, it's really easy to close even with the 9mm ribbon if you get the 9mm in your kit. So just fold it around a little bit and then poke it up through the 2 little holes there, and then tie that into a knot, and then we can just tie a simple little bow onto there as well. I did already cut the ends of the ribbon on this one, so hopefully it's long enough to still tie a little bow. I'm going to have to redo that one again. I didn't quite get it in the centre, but you can cut a little, you can tie a little bow onto there. And I had already cut the ends to make it look pretty, and then I untied it, so it's not quite long enough. Maybe leave your tails slightly longer for retying it again. But just to show how you can do the thicker ribbon for the top hanging piece as well, and then cut the tails at an angle too. And then I really love how this turned out. Really like both of these, and I've just embellished with that tag on both of them in different colours, and then also those fantastic holly leaves. And look how brilliant they look, cut from the holly green mirror card and the fern green Craft Perfect, and swapping over the details. They just look absolutely fantastic, and the little decorative panels look brilliant, cut from red or green depending, or from gold. They've got the gold glitter card, the gold mirror card, so really pretty. I really enjoyed those. I think they're absolutely fantastic, those gift boxes. And then I've done 3 cards to show you as well, and after seeing that little vein die and thinking it was antlers, I could not resist making this little card. So the background is splattering the glimmer paste, watered it down a little bit and splattered it with a paintbrush. I've shown that in a video at some point, I can't remember which one it was though. And then also coming in with the gold dot marker and doing a few gold dots in the background as well. So it's a mixture of the glimmer paste and the dot marker. Then for the little rectangles, I cut the gift tag out and then I flipped them up the other way. So this one's up the right way, that's up the wrong way, this one's up the right way. And then I used the Peace, Love, Joy to cover up the whole portion, so it looks like they're just little rectangles. And then I used the glitter card to cut out the antlers, the polished gold mirror card to cut out the reindeer heads, and then I also cut them from the red mirror card to get the little noses in there as well. But that could be gems or Nouveau drops if you wanted to too. But I really like how that turned out, just because I thought the inside of the vein of the holly looked like an antler. I just decided to make some little stylised reindeer head, so I think that works really nicely. Then I also thought that shape looked a bit like a Santa's hat. So I cut the pointy shape, which is the bottom of the bauble, plus the decorative panel, which I actually left all the pieces in, and I think that looks nice because it kind of looks like a debossed kind of effect. I cut them by and layered them on top of each other to create the main Santa's hat. I used the hexagon that's supposed to be the top of the bauble or the top or bottom of the bell, and I just cut into it with my scissors to kind of make it look a bit pom-pommy. And then I just cut a rectangle of the silver mirror card for the bottom of the hat. So everything else I've used on all of these cards is dies, except for I just cut a rectangle with my scissors to do the bottom of the hat. And this is where I did the swirly white blizzard onto it. Doesn't that look cool? It's a really different kind of effect that I've never really experimented with before, but it looks really cool just doing random swirls on top of the silver. And I think it kind of emulates a fancy fuzzy fur kind of effect, so I think that works really nicely. And I've just done the 'Tis the Season to go with that. It works really well in conjunction. And then I've just added a tiny little sprig of holly onto there with the fern green as the base and the holly green as the little veins on there. And I've also done some white blizzard in the background as falling snow. And then my favourite of all of the cards is creating a little wreath. So this is the interior hexagon piece to make those lips on the inside, which you don't actually need, so it's a great way of using up your waste, cutting that circle die into the centre of it. So if that circle die is supposed to be a gift tag, you would then also have the gift tags from this, because you're not using that circle centre. So you could also make gift tags as well from the waste pieces of the hexagons. You can then create a wreath and then create a gift tag too. And then this is that gorgeous gold swirl, and all I did was just layer the two of those hexagons together, twisted them so a point is in the middle of a flat side, so it's basically 12 pointed kind of wreathy design. And then I just sort of wove those swirly gold pieces around it, so some of them go under and then back over, some of them are just straight over the top. It just gives a gorgeous kind of effect to it. And then I just finished off with some beautiful holly leaves on there as well, all cut from the holly green mirror card with the fern green details on there as well. And then using the red cardstock, the red mirror card, to cut out the berries, piling a few of them together on this one where I've trimmed some of the pieces, so you've got odd numbers of holly rather than just the 2 leaves of holly. And then I've piled on some of the white blizzard drops on the top of it. So also the white blizzard is a fantastic Nouveau drop to have if you don't want to invest in too many different colours, because it's clear and has that glitter in. You can put it over the top of anything else and it makes it look like you used red glittery Nouveau drops on the top of those berries when it was just clear. So it's a really gorgeous one to have for your stash. And then I just did the jingle bells as the sentiment in that. I know there aren't actually any bells on here. I could have drawn a little string and had the little bells coming off of it. Oh, I didn't actually show you. Where did I put the bells? Oh, I put them here. You know, I said that these, I thought they looked like bells. I don't know if I can get it at the right angle. I just used a fine embossing tool to kind of put a little cross on the bottom, so they kind of look like bells, and I just put 3 of them on here. But I could have taken bells and hung some of them off, maybe like 2 or 3 of them hanging off the edge of the wreath here. Would look really nice to go with that jingle bell sentiment as well. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this Tonic Craft Kit unboxing video. Hopefully you didn't miss me too much from not having one last month. I'm really sorry about that, but I will get round to doing that video for you. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this unboxing video. I hope it gave you a few extra ideas of maybe how to embellish the boxes from this month's kit, or how to use some of the elements to create matching cards to go with them, or just beautiful cards by themselves. I really love that wreath design, and just how to look at dies a little bit differently and come up with a different kind of idea using those little holly vein dies to create little antlers for tiny little stylized reindeer as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye!